When God unites two souls, He does not merely bring together two hearts, He aligns two purposes. A soulmate is not simply a companion in joy, but a co-laborer in righteousness. If you find that your love does not deter you from your divine calling, but rather propels you toward it, take heed. This is no ordinary bond. The right person will not tempt you away from the light, but will walk beside you, even when the road grows difficult. Love ordained by God does not flee at the first sign of hardship. It is tested, refined, and proven through adversity. If the relationship you find yourself in weathers storms, rather than shattering under their weight, you may well be witnessing the hand of providence at work. Love that comes easily and leaves just as swiftly is often a mirage. True love stands not because it is effortless, but because it is fortified by something beyond mere human affection. Amidst the uncertainties of life, when God orchestrates love, He grants peace. Not the fleeting comfort of mere sentiment, but a profound and quiet assurance that, though the future remains unseen, the foundation is firm. If you find a love where the soul is at rest, rather than restless, where doubt is overshadowed by trust, then consider that God may be whispering His confirmation. Let us not be deceived into thinking that the right person will be flawless, nor that love will come without effort. But if it bears the marks of divine guidance, purpose, perseverance, and peace, then we may walk forward with faith, knowing that what God joins together, no force on earth can tear apart. Love in its truest form is not merely an emotion or a fleeting sentiment. It is a calling, a sacred duty bestowed upon us by the divine. To love rightly is to align oneself with a purpose far greater than personal satisfaction. It is to recognize that love is not about finding someone to complete us, for we are already made whole in the image of our Creator. Rather, it is about finding someone whose journey is interwoven with ours, someone with whom we can serve a purpose beyond ourselves. A soulmate is not simply a romantic partner, but a co-laborer in righteousness, a companion in the pursuit of the highest good. When God leads two people together, it is not for mere comfort or convenience. The union is designed to serve His greater plan. Love, then, is not self-seeking but sacrificial. It requires that we lay aside selfish desires in order to uplift another. If a relationship is driven solely by attraction, personal gain, or emotional gratification, it is built on unstable ground. But when love is rooted in the divine call to serve, to edify, and to build one another in faith, it becomes a vessel through which God's purposes are fulfilled. One of the clearest signs that God is leading you to your soulmate is that your relationship does not pull you away from your calling, but rather strengthens it. If your love for someone causes you to compromise your convictions, neglect your spiritual responsibilities, or weaken in character, then it is not a love that has been ordained by God. A divinely inspired relationship will inspire growth, not stagnation. It will call you higher, not drag you down. The person whom God has chosen for you will not be an obstacle to your spiritual walk, but an encouragement, pushing you forward even when the path is difficult. Throughout history, we see examples of relationships that were built upon divine calling. Consider the biblical accounts of those whom God joined together. Their unions were not merely for companionship, but for the fulfillment of a divine mission. Their love was not always easy, nor was it devoid of trials, but it was steadfast because it was built on something eternal. Likewise, when God is leading you to your soulmate, there will be a sense of shared purpose, something greater than the individuals involved. A true soulmate relationship is one where both individuals are actively pursuing God's will, and in that pursuit, they find each other. They do not seek one another as the ultimate source of fulfillment, but rather recognize that their unity is a means to glorify God together. They encourage one another to be more patient, more loving, more faithful. They pray together, serve together, and grow together. Their love does not distract them from their faith, but deepens it. If God is leading you to your soulmate, you will find that your relationship fosters not just love, but holiness. You will be challenged to become better, to rid yourself of selfishness, to develop virtues that reflect the character of God. Your relationship will not be built on fleeting emotions, but on steadfast commitment to what is right and true. A divinely ordained relationship is not measured by how much pleasure it brings, but by how much closer it brings you to the heart of God. Love as a divine calling is not about waiting passively for the perfect person to appear. It is about becoming the kind of person who is ready to love rightly. Many seek a soulmate without first seeking to be someone worthy of such a relationship. They desire a love that is patient, kind, and enduring, yet they themselves are unwilling to cultivate these virtues. But God calls us first to grow in love before we seek to receive it. He refines us, shapes us, and prepares us, so that when the right person comes, we are not merely seeking love, but are prepared to give it in its truest form. The love that God ordains is not exempt from trials, but rather it is strengthened through them. Challenges will come, but instead of tearing the relationship apart, they will refine it like gold in the fire. Hardships will reveal whether love is rooted in mere feelings or in something far deeper. A soulmate will stand by your side, not just when love is easy, but when it requires sacrifice. They will not abandon you at the first sign of trouble, but will walk with you through life's storms, knowing that love is not merely about happiness, but about holiness. To love in the way God intends is to understand that relationships are not about self-fulfillment alone, but about fulfilling a divine purpose. If your relationship draws you closer to that purpose, if it strengthens your character, if it fosters growth rather than complacency, then it bears the marks of divine calling. Love, in this sense, is not about the pursuit of personal pleasure, but about the pursuit of the highest good together. Love that is ordained by God is not measured by how effortlessly it begins, but by how steadfastly it endures. Many believe that a soulmate relationship should be free of hardship, that the right person will bring only joy and ease. But love in its purest form is tested, refined, and strengthened through trials. A love that cannot withstand adversity is not a love that is built to last. When God leads you to your soulmate, the relationship will not be devoid of challenges. but it will have the resilience to overcome them. Difficulties in a relationship do not signify that it is failing, rather, they serve as a proving ground for its authenticity. When storms arise, they reveal the depth of a relationship's foundation. A connection rooted in mere attraction or fleeting emotions will crumble at the first sign of struggle, but a relationship built on divine purpose will stand firm. Challenges expose whether two people are merely infatuated with one another or truly committed to walking life's path together. If God is at the center of the relationship, difficulties will not drive the couple apart, but will draw them closer, teaching them patience, sacrifice, and unwavering faith. Trials are not obstacles to love, but instruments that refine it. Just as fire purifies gold, hardships purify relationships, removing selfishness, pride, and immaturity. A love that has never been tested may appear strong, but it remains unproven. It is easy to love when circumstances are favorable, but true love is demonstrated in moments of suffering when staying together requires perseverance rather than convenience. A soulmate is not just someone who enjoys your company when life is pleasant, but someone who remains steadfast when burdens arise. God allows trials in relationships not as a means of destruction, but as a means of preparation. He does not lead two people together for mere companionship, but for a purpose greater than themselves. This purpose requires strength, humility, and a willingness to grow. Many desire a love that is easy, yet the greatest relationships are those that have endured storms together. If your love falters when difficulties come, it may not be the love that God has ordained. But if trials deepen your bond, teaching you to love sacrificially, to forgive, and to endure, then it bears the marks of divine guidance. A soulmate is not someone who shields you from hardship, but someone who walks through it with you. When two people are led by God, they do not see trials as signs to give up, but as opportunities to strengthen their commitment. A relationship that can endure sickness, financial struggles, misunderstandings, and external opposition is a relationship that reflects divine love. Such love does not waver under pressure, but stands firm, knowing that God's purpose is greater than temporary discomfort. Endurance through trials requires faith, not just in one another, but in God's plan. There will be moments when doubt creeps in, when emotions waver, and when circumstances seem unbearable. But the presence of trials does not mean that God has abandoned the relationship. Rather, it is often a sign that He is refining it. Those who rely solely on human strength will falter, but those who seek God's wisdom and grace will find that trials become a means of deepening their trust in Him and in each other. A relationship that withstands trials is not one where conflict is absent, but one where conflict is resolved with grace. Disagreements will arise, but they should not lead to bitterness or separation. Instead, they should be met with humility, understanding, and a desire for reconciliation. A soulmate is someone who values the relationship more than their pride, who seeks to mend rather than to destroy. If both individuals are committed to overcoming struggles together, the relationship will not only survive, but flourish. Hardships also serve to reveal true character. When life is easy, it is simple to be kind, patient, and loving. But in times of stress, our deepest nature is exposed. If a person becomes selfish, unkind, or unwilling to endure difficulties, it is a sign that their love is not rooted in God's truth. However, if trials reveal patience, endurance, and a willingness to grow, then the relationship is being shaped for something far greater than mere romantic pleasure. The world often teaches that love should be effortless, that the right person will make life easier. But the greatest love stories are not those without struggle. They are those that have been tested and have emerged stronger. When God leads you to your soulmate, He is not simply giving you a partner for easy days, but a companion for the hardest ones. The ability to endure trials together is not just a mark of a good relationship, but of a divinely ordained one. One of the clearest signs that God is leading you to your soulmate is the presence of an unshakable peace, a deep and abiding calm that persists even in uncertainty. This peace is not based on external circumstances, nor is it dependent on fleeting emotions. It is a quiet assurance that settles in the soul, a divine confirmation that this relationship is aligned with God's will. Unlike the temporary excitement of infatuation, which can be accompanied by anxiety, doubt, and fear, true peace remains even when emotions fluctuate. This peace does not mean that the relationship will be without difficulties, nor does it mean that every moment will be filled with joy. Rather, it is the kind of peace that provides stability in the midst of life's storms. When God is at the center of a relationship, He grants a sense of security that does not waver with changing circumstances. Even in moments of disagreement, even when life presents unexpected challenges, there is an underlying confidence that this relationship is rooted in something far greater than human effort alone. A relationship that is not from God often comes with confusion, restlessness, and uncertainty. When a relationship is forced, when it is built on selfish desires rather than divine purpose, it tends to be accompanied by a sense of unease. There may be moments of happiness, but underneath it all, there lingers an unspoken doubt, a feeling that something is not quite right. This is not the peace that God provides. When He brings two people together, He does not do so in a way that causes constant anxiety, fear, or emotional turmoil. His way is marked by clarity, by assurance, by a sense of rightness that cannot be explained in mere human terms. The peace that comes from God is not the absence of challenges, but the presence of certainty despite them. It is the knowledge that, though the relationship will require effort, it is not something that needs to be forced. There is a natural rhythm, a harmony, a sense that both individuals are being drawn together by something beyond themselves. This peace is not rooted in logic alone, nor is it something that can be manufactured through human reasoning. It is a gift from God, a confirmation that He is guiding the relationship according to His perfect plan. This peace is often accompanied by a deep trust in God's timing. When a relationship is divinely orchestrated, there is no need to rush, to manipulate circumstances, or to cling out of fear. There is an understanding that what is meant to be will unfold as God intends. In contrast, relationships that are built on insecurity are often marked by an urgency to control, to ensure that everything happens on a specific timeline. But true, God-ordained love allows room for patience, for growth, for the assurance that, in His time, all things will come together as they should. Peace also manifests in how a relationship influences one's spiritual walk. When God is leading you to your soulmate, the relationship will not pull you away from him, but will draw you closer. There will be a deep sense of alignment where both individuals encourage one another in faith rather than distract from it. A relationship that weakens your relationship with God, that leads you into compromise, that creates confusion rather than clarity. Such a relationship lacks divine peace. But when God is truly leading, he provides reassurance that this love is part of his greater purpose, not a detour from it. This peace is not only felt internally but is often affirmed by those around you. Wise counsel, mentors, and loved ones who walk closely with God may recognize the harmony in the relationship and offer their encouragement. While external validation is not the ultimate test of divine peace, it often serves as an additional confirmation. When a relationship is right, it does not require excessive justification, convincing, or defensiveness. It stands firm on its own, bearing the fruit of God's guidance. Even in moments of uncertainty, when external challenges arise, peace remains. The world may cast doubt, circumstances may present obstacles, but the heart remains steady. This peace does not mean that fear or hesitation never surface, but rather that those emotions do not have the power to override the deeper assurance that God is in control. It is the kind of peace that allows one to move forward in faith, to trust that, despite the unknown, God's hand is upon the relationship. When God is leading you to your soulmate, you will find that this peace extends beyond yourself. Your partner, too, will experience the same calm assurance. Love that is rooted in divine purpose does not leave one person feeling certain while the other remains confused or hesitant. Both individuals, though they may have their own personal challenges to work through, will ultimately come to a place of shared confidence. This mutual peace serves as yet another confirmation that God is the one guiding the relationship. A soulmate relationship is not marked by perfection, but it is marked by stability. It does not demand constant validation or emotional highs to sustain itself. Instead, it rests in the quiet confidence that this love is not the result of mere chance, but of divine orchestration. When God is at the center, peace is not something that must be chased. It is something that naturally abides. Trials in a relationship are not signs of failure, but markers of authenticity. When God is leading you to your soulmate, the relationship will not be exempt from difficulties. Instead, it will be tested, refined, and strengthened through them. Many people assume that the presence of struggle means that a relationship is not meant to be. However, the opposite is often true. God allows challenges to reveal whether love is built on a solid foundation or merely on fleeting emotions. A love that can endure hardship is a love that has been divinely prepared for a lifelong journey. Difficulties serve as a means of purification. Just as fire refines gold, trials remove impurities in a relationship, exposing weaknesses that must be addressed and strengthening qualities that will sustain love over time. A relationship that has never faced adversity remains unproven. It is in moments of hardship that true character is revealed. If love crumbles under pressure, it was not built to last. But if it stands firm in the face of trials, growing stronger rather than weaker, then it bears the marks of divine ordination. A soulmate is not someone who ensures that life is always easy, but someone who walks through life's difficulties alongside you. They do not abandon you when circumstances become challenging, but remain steadfast, proving that love is not conditional on convenience. When God leads two people together, He does not remove obstacles, but gives them the strength to overcome them. A divinely guided relationship will face challenges, but it will also be sustained by faith, patience, and an unwavering commitment to one another. Many people desire a relationship without struggle, believing that the right person will never cause them pain. But this expectation is unrealistic and unbiblical. Even the strongest relationships will experience misunderstandings, disagreements, and external pressures. The difference between a divinely ordained relationship and one that is merely based on human desire is how it responds to these difficulties. A God-led relationship does not give up easily, nor does it seek escape when hardships arise. Instead, it looks to God for wisdom, grace, and the endurance to continue. Trials serve to deepen love by removing selfishness. They force individuals to confront their weaknesses and learn to prioritize the needs of their partner. Many relationships fail because they are built on self-interest rather than sacrificial love. True love, the kind that God ordains, requires humility and a willingness to endure discomfort for the sake of the other. If a relationship is easily shaken by difficulties, it may be rooted in self-centeredness rather than true commitment. A soulmate relationship, however, will refine both individuals, teaching them to love in a way that reflects God's own selfless love. Challenges also reveal whether both individuals are willing to grow. A relationship that is led by God will not remain stagnant. It will push both partners to develop virtues such as patience, kindness, and perseverance. When difficulties arise, they become opportunities for growth rather than reasons to walk away. If both individuals are willing to work through struggles, seeking wisdom and guidance from God, then the trials themselves become a confirmation that the relationship is not merely based on fleeting emotion, but on a deeper, lasting commitment. God does not waste trials. Every difficulty in a relationship has a purpose, whether to strengthen communication, increase trust, or remove unhealthy habits. When challenges arise, it is not a sign that the relationship is doomed, but that God is actively shaping it. Those who rely on human strength alone will see trials as burdens, but those who trust in God will recognize them as tools for transformation. A soulmate is not someone who makes life free of struggle, but someone with whom you can face struggles in a way that glorifies God. Difficulties also test whether a relationship is built on faith or fear. Many people remain in relationships out of fear of loneliness, fear of starting over, or fear of making the wrong decision. But trials reveal whether a relationship is truly sustained by God. If a relationship is full of anxiety, uncertainty, and constant instability, then the trials may be revealing that it is not divinely ordained. However, if a relationship, despite its challenges, is marked by peace, mutual encouragement, and a shared desire to honor God, then those trials serve as a confirmation rather than a deterrent. A soulmate relationship does not mean the absence of conflict, but it does mean the presence of resolution. When God is leading two people together, they will face struggles, but they will also have the grace to overcome them. They will not seek to win arguments, but to understand one another. They will not allow pride to destroy their connection, but will learn to humble themselves for the sake of the relationship. If a couple is willing to endure hardship together with love, patience, and trust in God, then those very hardships become proof that the relationship is built to last. The trials that a soulmate relationship faces are not meant to destroy it, but to prove its strength. They separate what is temporary from what is eternal, what is built on convenience from what is built on commitment. If a relationship falls apart at the first sign of trouble, then it was not grounded in God's plan. But if trials only serve to deepen trust, refine character, and strengthen love, then they become a sign that the relationship is one that God Himself is sustaining.